Welcome back to Honda's R Us. We've been shopping various bits for various bikes, honestly, but bolts and things, pads for brakes, and orange paint. Yeah. Yes, we've already been busy painting the wheel and some of the door. Some of that door. So we'll unmask that in a minute and see what it looks like. Exciting, eh? Haven't tackled the tank yet, though I might just spray that half without masking it, obviously, because we'll mask it off when we do the black. And then make sure that that's all right with a bit of primer. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll do the primer first and then... Anyway, you've got to deal with this first. Yes, I know, it looks like brains. It's not, it's chicken necks, raw chicken necks for wolf dogs. Yes, everything in this household seems to be messy. We also got some nice shiny new bolts to mount the rotors with. They're a little bit longer, as you can see, and not so shiny, or rusty, to be honest, because they're matte black. Yeah, they might be a little bit too long. We might have to cut them short, because they might protrude a little. We'll see once we've got it all unwrapped. Well, there we go. Yeah, not a bad masking job, honestly. So those bits we're going to rub down anyway, right? Nothing a little squirt of black won't sort out. And the other side's even better. Yeah. So, yeah, that's cool. I'm going to let that dry. Gonna test fit the rotors before we paint them also with the same orange stripe, but generally I'm quite pleased with that. Let's put the rotors on, see what it looks like. Yeah, lovely. I don't know if we need to paint that orange. I don't think I will. No, I'm gonna leave the rotors all black. There you go. Discs for my English viewers. Yeah, so let's test fit them, because at the moment we've only got the one side on. Luckily, thanks to our extraordinary over-ordering on the exhaust exhaust nuts, we got a few. There's our protrusion, and we might get away with it. You never know. That's about level. I don't know. Anyway, they fit, and it's all looking quite good. Yeah. Debating whether to use my big drill with the sanding wheel or a Dremel, which, as you know, I don't really like. But last time I used it, it was better. So, yeah. Anyway, that's what we've got to do next on the wheel is sand down all these edges so that they're nice and silver and shiny. That doesn't sound at all tedious, does it? No. Well, there we go. We have been tangoed or chevied or whatever. Anyway, yeah, cool. Nice. Done. Ready for the black. Meantime, our new brake pads are in, and they look like they'll fit, and they look like they've got a lot more meat on them than the old ones did, so that was a good move. We'll be fitting those later. Meantime, I've been doing a little experimentation with my least favourite tool. It's the Dremel type tool. This is not a Dremel, it's a... Tis was. Anyway, as suspected, it's the perfect tool for this kind of job, and actually it does strip it off quite quickly, I have to say. The fact it sounds like a dentist drill is a little bit off-putting, so I shall persevere. One finished article. Very nice. Very fiddly. Used a Dremel and a flat sander to get those spokes kind of nicely buffed up. Let's get these calipers back together again. So first thing we're going to need, apart from the caliper and the pads, is the bag of bits that we carefully put somewhere so that we wouldn't lose them. Yes, thanks to my memory, it took me I think 20 minutes to find where I'd put them. Yes, in the Honda spares box, obviously. Obviously some of this we won't be needing. In fact, that's all we need for the moment. The pins to locate the calipers, the pads rather, sorry, and these to lock them down with, which we should probably clean up, shouldn't we? Yes. So because there's shims inboard on these boys, which is kind of unusual, at least as far as I'm concerned, what we've done so far is just slot one of these pins through on this side. You can see it just protruding there, and then we're going to have to hold the pads down on the shims while we slot this one through. So now we've got both pins through, pads are nicely located and sprung in place, and we're ready to put our slightly cleaned up tab on top. So again, this is different from usual, but basically it fits over them there, so they've got slightly one of those like putting up a shelf, right? Drop it on in the big hole, push it down. Oh, it's not quite there. And then we'll just bolt it up here, and that'll keep everything in place like so. And that's just a 10mm hex nut, and yeah, as I say, I've never kind of seen this way of doing it before, but I quite like it actually. Easy enough. In fact, it was so easy I decided to take it all off again and paint them orange. Yes, and replace those hex nuts with some similarly sized short Allen things I had lying around. Yeah, so they're looking all together much better. Now we just need to put it all back on the bike, I suppose. The only thing that concerns me, and I can't remember where it went, there's one of those in the bag. Anyone remember where that went? And why there's only one? Alrighty, let's pop that front wheel back on. A little bit of grease on the axle there, and speedo on the left hand side of the bike, and spacer on the right hand side of the bike. It's easy, right? Well, it wasn't easy taking it off. It was actually very awkward. It was just difficult. So we'll see how it goes. So first thing first, just slot the front wheel in between the forks in roughly the right place, and obviously the right way around. So that's for the speedo there. Yes. And what? Well, I suppose we're going to need to lower it slightly, aren't we, by the looks of things. Couple of inches. Bear in mind we might have to take all this off and do it all over again because of the protrusion. We're going to see if we can get away with it, if it's sensible or dangerous or whatever. First things first, we're just slotting the axle through this side and putting the spacer in place. Then we're going to slot it through the wheel, and then we're going to try and put the other side all together. So let's push through a little bit more, and we're coming out the other side. Time to put the speedo doofer in. So we're through and into the other fork. Obviously the speedo doofer's in the wrong place, it should be behind the fork. Anyway, what I wanted to establish at this point was these boys, and I think we've established that they're too long. Yeah, so we're gonna have to do this all again, having cut down those bolts. I thought I'd have to do it, honestly. So there we go. Anyway, looks kind of funky. Yeah, better than it looked before anyway, right? Meantime, I've been painting this up, a genuine CB750 side stand. Yes, looks a lot better than when it arrived, and obviously we know it's going to work. So if we test the other one again and don't like it, we'll use this one. Meanwhile, on the tank front, things have gone from minutely bad to horribly worse. So there was a little patch here that just wasn't kind of shiny, so I hit that whole side again, and then it all went kind of streaky, and now of course, as you can see, I've hit it again and there's drips, and I should have learnt my lesson with the Ducati using engine paint. It's just really difficult to get a really nice finish on it, because that's not what it's designed for, to be honest. And worse still is it's really difficult to kind of sand down, because it kind of clogs up, as I think I've already said before. So just kind of back myself into a corner again. So obviously we're going to sand it down, we're going to see what happens, and we'll take it from there. Well, I'm beginning to like my little Dremel Tiswas tool, not least of all because of this attachment, little wire brush there, which has made light work of cleaning this up. As you can see, it's pretty horrible. And yeah, that top bit looked like that bottom bit a minute ago, and now it's all nice and shiny. One down, 4 to go. Job done. Well, front wheel's finally back on. That was a hell of a real pain in the arse to get it all lined up to start threading, but we got there. Now we're just going to put the brake calipers back on again, and that's that front end pretty much all bolted up. So it's the large bolt, it goes at the top, that slides into the rubber and then screws into the caliper. And then the other one is a smaller bolt, regular bolt, which just slides through the rubber and then bolts into the fork. Now it's pretty much sat on the side stand, so all the weight is actually on the front forks. The chain is ever so slightly loose at the top there. And I think you'll agree we've got quite a nice stance going on. Yes. Certainly shorten those forks, and 3 inches was about right. Look at that. We have a nice level line now. All we've got to do now is top up the forks with the oil when that arrives, and put the new end caps on and sell the old ones. And of course sort out the brake lines. Yes. On the seat front, our extended nuts, I'm going to call them. Anyway, sleeve nuts, whatever. Joining nuts, I think they're called, or something. I don't know. Anyway, they've arrived. So we can bolt down the front end and see what we're going to do about the back end. As usual, version 2, turns out we didn't need those extended nuts after all. What we needed to do was actually take out some of the arbitrary kind of mounts and rests and things that they'd put in the seat, so that the pan fits snugly in there, because it was all too high. So now it's a question of working out this back end, isn't it, and what we're going to do with these. Well, I think we'll leave that for next time, so thanks for tuning in again, and do subscribe if you haven't already, so that you get the next update. If you thought the video was any good, give it a thumbs up, and of course encourage others to watch my lunacy.